How do actors rehearse for their roles? Rehearsing isn't just about memorizing lines. It's about bringing a character to life. Now, every actor has their own approach, but here are 8 common effective methods almost all actors use. Now, listen, there's a good chance that you've done these already, but maybe, just maybe, it's time for a refresher. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach, and this is Casting Actors Cast.
This is Casting Actors Cast. Jeffrey Dreisbach brings you insights and inspiration. Make a difference in your acting and your acting career. Here's Jeffrey Dreisbach.
Well, hello, and welcome to today's episode of Casting Actors Cast. As I mentioned in the introduction, I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach. I'm a casting partner with McCorkle Casting in New York City. How are you? Hope you're having a good day. I'm having a really good day and looking forward to the process that actors put themselves through in order to feel accomplished in rehearsals. And so we're going to just dive into that. I've got 8, I think, really useful common tips that you might find helpful on your journey when you get cast in a role, or just the process of working on a project, whether it be film, television, or theater. You might find this really, really helpful. But first, this is that moment of the podcast where I simply get to say thank you for tuning into Casting Actors Cast. It's been an honor and a privilege to bring these podcasts to you. These podcast videos, care of the Broadway Podcast Network. Also, I'm live on YouTube, so you can go to Casting Actors Cast on YouTube as well. Also, as you've probably, if you've been listening to any of these podcasts, you know that there's a website. The website is castingactorscast, all one word.com. There you're going to find some past episodes. You're going to find the blog called Jeff's Jots, which are corresponding show notes to each of the episodes. Also, you're going to see some freebies that are available to you if you fill out that form that says dive into the talent pool. Simply give your name and your email address, and that'll open up some freebies. One is a book on doing voiceover work that I wrote called Conversation Pieces Out of the Studio. The other is a video called Casting Secrets, What They Don't Tell You. Now listen, this is an exclusive private video that I'm really, really happy to be able to give to you. These are absolutely free of charge, no kidding. I also want to put that shout out to a couple of things. One is the Actors Connection. ActorsConnection.com/New York is an excellent place to check out if you haven't done so already. I recommend them. I think that they're really doing excellent work. And finally, my book, Jeff's Jots, is available. You can get it on Amazon.com. There's a link in the website as well. And then finally, and there is the Creative Coaching Partners course that I'm teaching called The Art of the Audition. Creative Coaching Partners, The Art of the Audition. So you can check those things out. All right, kind of a lot to get to. And I did want to share just a little bit about the process of rehearsing. Now, if you've been lucky enough to get cast in something, and whether it's a film or a television or a project, some of these rehearsal suggestions may or may not be really useful to you. Some of them may be extraordinarily useful. For example, there's 100 years ago when I was doing some soap opera work, it was kind of amazing that you got there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and then you did a rough camera block, and that was without any costumes or anything like that, but you just kind of got a rough idea about where the camera's going to be and where you're going to be with the other actor. So that was a rough camera blocking. And then you had a break because they did the rest of the episode that day. Then you got a dress rehearsal, then you got notes, and then you shot it. Now, sometimes, but more often than not, there really wasn't an opportunity to work with another actor, especially if you were working with an actor who was a star on the show, for example. So there's a lot of waiting around time and not a lot of time to sort of dig in. On the other hand, some of these points that I'll be making today really can be so helpful in terms of doing a theater production. So that's why I had to kind of put out a disclaimer out there. This is not all things for all projects, but I think it kind of helps us, like I said in the introduction, give us a little bit of a refresher about what you can do for yourself should the opportunity arise. I hope that that makes sense. So here are the 8 steps, the 8 tips, the 8 ways actors go through a rehearsal process. Number 1, table reads. That's what I call the starting point. So imagine everyone sitting around a table, scripts in hand, reading through the dialogue for the first time. Well, guess what? That's a table read. Now, here's why it matters, because this is oftentimes the very first time the cast gets a sense of the script as a whole. It's not just about reading your lines. It's about hearing how they fit with everyone else's. You start to feel for the rhythm of the dialogue. And, of course, you begin to understand the dynamics between the characters. Plus, I have to say, it's a perfect opportunity to start building chemistry with your fellow actors. So that's table read is really important. Table reads, whether you're doing a situation comedy, for example, on television, that table read becomes really important because writers might choose to do some rewriting. The actors are hearing what those guest stars are going to be doing in their work. It really becomes a communal kind of get together, let's hash this out situation. And that can be a lot of fun. It can be a little bit intimidating sometimes, I have to say, but most of the times it's really an exciting opportunity to hear each other in a comfortable, safe environment. Second tip, memorizing. Getting the word down. So memorizing lines is a must, but it is not as simple as just repeating them over and over, although that might be one way to do it. Some actors like to record their lines and listen to them on repeat, while others might write them out to help solidify them in their minds. I can also, because I did an episode on memorization, sometimes just rehearsing with script in hand and associating the blocking that you're doing with the words that you are saying with another actor. Many, many times I found in my acting experience that I didn't really need to sit down and actually memorize the words. It sort of came very naturally, especially if my head was in the right place of playing that specific character, something that I was really comfortable in my own skin playing. Now, that's a little bit different if you're doing Shakespeare, for example, obviously. That's a little bit different if you've got like a really big, hefty role to play where there are lots of words. So you might need to have a systematic approach to doing it. But this is why it matters. See, once you've got your lines down, you can then focus on delivering them with emotion, with intention, really discovering creative moments in the performance. It's about freeing your mind when you memorize a script so that you can concentrate on your performance rather than, worrying about, what comes next. All right, here's number 3. It really is a useful tool, what I call character study, becoming someone else. Character study. Now, this is where the magic happens. It's like, digging deep into your character, digging deep into who your character is. I know some actors create detailed backstories, imagining their character's childhood, for example, their fears, their desires. And then there are others that might study similar real-life people or interview someone who's lived a life like their characters. And this is why it matters. The more you understand your character, the more authentic your performance will be. See, it's not just about acting like someone else. It's about becoming them. When you know what drives your character, every line, every action has a purpose. Tip number 4, physical and vocal warm-ups, what I call preparing the instrument. Acting is a full-body experience. Before diving into a rehearsal, actors often do physical exercise and they do warm-ups. This might include I don't know, stretching, breathing exercises, or practicing tongue twisters to loosen up. I know many actors who really love yoga because it really is a mind-body connection that they're getting in touch with on a regular basis. And here's why that matters. Your body and voice are your instruments. Warming them up means you're ready to give your best performance. It helps prevent injuries and ensures that you can project your voice in a theater situation or express emotions with good connection. It can help you with your physicality and stay in character without holding your body back. As a side note, sometimes it's really interesting that a note that I give to actors on occasion is, I don't feel the character is in your body. And that literally means that there's a disconnect between how your character behaves physically and how you, the actor, are behaving physically. You need to match those up in order to really feel the connectedness that you will have while you're acting. I've got more. Number 5 is coming up right after this. Are you wishing for acting success? Are you ready with audition techniques for theater, film, and television? Are you ready with proven methods for growing your talent? Are you ready to boost your business? It would help if you had a playbook to guide you. Now, there's Jeff's Jots, the Actor's Career Playbook by Jeffrey Dreisbach. Jeff's Jots at Amazon.com, CastingActorsCast.com, available in paperback, hardcover, or ebook. Stop wishing and start doing with Jeff's Jots, the Actor's Career Playbook. All right, welcome back. Now, number 5 really is simple. It's blocking rehearsals, what I call choreographing the scene. So here's what it is. As you might already know, blocking is really all about the movement. Where you enter, where you stand, where you walk, when you sit, all of those physical activities that your character is experiencing, is doing during the course of the scene. Now, these rehearsals will focus on choreographing those movements to match the script and the scene's emotional beats. Sometimes, especially in film, especially in episodic television, as an example, any television for that matter, sometimes the movement has to be extremely specific. And the reason for that is simply to make sure that the camera is there to follow the scene, to follow the action. And so you might be choreographed down to every inch of your life in terms of the movement of a particular scene. Not to mention if you've got a fight scene or you've got some comic business that really involves just a lot of interaction with other actors and beats and moments. There can be a lot involved, and that's why I call it choreography. And this is why it matters. It's not just about making sure that you're in the right place at the right time. It really is about creating a world in which the scene feels real. It's about how you move in the space and how others interact with other characters and how your physical actions tell part of the story. So when you are in a stage production, obviously the blocking is very valuable and important because it structures the movement of the project. And in film and television, it's really much more about camera angles. There's a technical aspect of it that really needs to be addressed. And where you are physically is your own personal work, obviously, in your rehearsal process, but also the externals. Where is the camera? Where's the angle? Is it an over-the-shoulder shot? How about if I move in this direction? So hitting your mark can be really, really important. But that's also part of the rehearsal process. You're not just kind of thrown out there and expected to know this stuff. But you need to have your wits about you, especially in those very tedious, laid out, heavily blocked scenes that you might be experiencing. All right, moving on from there, number 6, improvisation. What I call finding the unexpected. So improv is about spontaneity. Really, it's just acting without a script. It helps you to react in the moment and helps you explore the character's reactions to new situations it finds itself in. So that's really, really helpful. And it matters because improv can reveal new layers to the character or new layers to the scene you might not have discovered through the scripted rehearsal alone. Improvisation becomes so helpful because it keeps your performance fresh, it keeps your performance alive, and allows you to respond naturally to what's happening around you. It also helps you stay in the moment, which of course you've probably heard before, which is crucial for delivering a performance that feels real and feels spontaneous. That freedom to work unscripted, to come up with ways in which your character can express themselves emotionally is very, very helpful and gives you a lot of confidence in your acting when you can incorporate anytime you can incorporate some of those, spontaneous, improvisational kinds of action. I don't know, for lack of a better way to say it. All right, let's move on from there. What I call scene work is breaking it down. So scene work involves rehearsing specific scenes, oftentimes over and over, breaking them down into beats, which are pretty much small shifts in emotion or intention, to really understand what's happening in each moment. It matters because focusing on the individual scene allows you to dive into the details. You can explore different ways of delivering the words, experimenting with your timing, and figuring out your emotional journey with your character as well as with other characters that happen within the scene. Now, this method is all about what I think is fine-tuning your performance and finding the truth in each moment. 8, finally, rehearsal with a partner. A scene partner. That's what I call building connection. Now, sometimes actors will rehearse one-on-one with a scene partner to build a deeper connection and work out the dynamics between their characters. It matters because acting is often about the chemistry between characters, and rehearsing with your scene partner helps build that relationship. It's a chance to explore interactions and reactions and the push and the pull of the dialogue in a more intimate setting. Wow, that's a lot, right? Please remember that every actor's process is unique, whether you're doing theater, film, or television, and these methods are just simple tools to help you understand or also help you find what works best for you, whether it's through deep character study or spontaneous improvisation. The goal is always the same: to deliver a performance that is truthful, compelling, and unforgettable. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jeffrey Dreisbach. We'll see you next time on Casting Actors Cast.